You know this quote, often attributed to Mark Twain, it absolutely nails what we're talking about today. We're about to take a serious look at some of the things we think we know for sure about our economy that just might not be true at all.
Today, we're cracking open Chapter 3 of Emad Mostaq's The Last Economy. And this chapter, well, it's less of a discussion and more of an autopsy on the economic ideas that have been running the world for centuries. So the author gives us this incredible metaphor. Our whole economic system is like a giant house built on sand. And the 7 pillars we thought were holding it all up, turns out they're fatal lies. And right now, under the immense weight of AI, they're not just cracking, they're starting to crumble.
So let's start the demolition with the 2 biggest, most fundamental lies of all. These are the ones that shape what we think is valuable and how we think we earned our place in the world.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Lie number 1. This is the bedrock. It's literally the first sentence of pretty much every economics textbook you'll ever read. The whole field is based on this one core idea. Things are scarce, and economics is how we deal with that.
But then reality hits you like a ton of bricks. Get this. For the kind of high-level thinking that used to be super rare and expensive, the author points out that AI has dropped the cost by 99.99%. That's not a typo. For intelligence itself, we've basically already achieved post-scarcity.
And that just breaks everything, doesn't it? Our whole system is built to handle scarcity, so when true abundance shows up, it basically has a system error. It can only see it as a total catastrophe, which leads to this really fundamental question. What's the price of something you can copy for free forever?
And that leads us straight into lie number 2. A belief so deep it's practically part of our DNA, that our value as people is tied to our jobs. You know, the whole system is designed to train you for a job, and that job is supposed to give you your income, your purpose, your identity, the whole shebang.
But if you just look at the raw numbers, the cold, hard logic of the market, it's brutal. A human worker comes with all these costs and, well, liabilities. An AI worker, it's just a rounding error on an electricity bill. The tough pill to swallow here is that for more and more jobs, a human is quickly becoming a liability, not an asset.
So when people say, oh, we'll just re-skill everyone, they're completely missing the point. They're avoiding this terrifying but absolutely necessary question. What happens to your salary when a machine can do your job infinitely better, faster, and for basically nothing?
All right, so we've talked about value and labor. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the systems and markets themselves. Because the lies we tell ourselves about how all this stuff actually works are just as damaging.
Okay, lie number 3. This is the old idea that for an economy to grow, we have to physically consume more of the planet, more resources, more stuff. But AI just completely shatters that idea. Think about it. Once an AI model is trained, it can generate value for 1 billion people without using a single extra atom. It's a factory with 0 marginal cost.
Next up, lie number 4. And this is like a comforting bedtime story economists tell themselves, the invisible hand of the market, the idea that competition is this natural force that always levels the playing field and brings things back into balance.
The reality? Digital markets do the exact opposite. They don't correct, they amplify. Thanks to network effects, where a service gets better the more people use it, these markets don't find balance. They naturally create monopolies. It's not about equilibrium. It's about accelerating towards winner-take-all.
And that brings us to lie number 5, which is, honestly, it's kind of nuts when you think about it. It's the belief that GDP, basically how much money is changing hands, is a good way to measure if we're doing well. The author's example of Wikipedia is perfect. It created unimaginable value for humanity. But because it killed the paid encyclopedia business, its net effect on GDP is actually negative.
So you see the problem, right? Our main tool for measuring success is completely blind to some of the most valuable things we create. When knowledge becomes abundant and free, we're literally achieving this incredible dream, and our system's dashboard starts flashing red alerts, screaming that it's a disaster.
Okay, let's get into the final 2 lies. And these are the ones that get really personal. They're about us, about people, and about the deep down moral justifications for the whole system.
Lie number 6. This is the classic idea of Homo economicus, that we're all these rational robots making perfectly calculated decisions to maximize our own happiness. The reality, as the author puts it, is that we're living inside an addiction machine, an online world perfectly designed by algorithms to hack our brains and turn us into predictable, optimized consumers. The power imbalance is just staggering.
And it leads to this really chilling question. When it's your brain against an algorithm that has studied billions of brains just like yours, who's really the one making the rational choices?
And that brings us to the final one, lie number 7. This is the big one. It's the moral foundation of our whole system. The core promise of capitalism. You get what you deserve. The rewards you get are a fair reflection of the value you contribute.
But when you look at the data, well, the data tells a very different story. What this chart shows is that for decades, even as workers became way more productive, their wages basically flatlined. The link between contribution and reward wasn't just weakened, it was severed. According to the author, distribution no longer follows contribution, it follows ownership.
So, wow. After tearing all that down, where does that leave us? We're basically standing in the rubble of an old, dead idea. The author calls it the bonfire of the verities, a moment where all the truths we built our world on are going up in smoke.
And here they are, all 7 of them laid out. But the key takeaway is that these aren't 7 different mistakes. They're all part of one single giant delusion, the belief that an economic operating system designed for a world of scarce physical stuff can possibly work in a world of abundant, intelligent information.
So we're not going to end with a nice, neat summary. Instead, we're going to leave you with the one question that all of this boils down to. The problem isn't making things anymore, it's figuring out who gets what. And how we answer this, that's probably the biggest challenge we're going to face this century.